The Steam Deck here has been quite a successful device, so much so that people have gaslit themselves into thinking that Linux is only going to be useful gaming on a Steam Deck, or gaming with SteamOS. If you're gaming on Linux, if you're just using a regular Linux distro, nothing works, which is obviously not the case, like as you can tell from, my system, and you ignore the fact that my drive's almost full, and you can tell from my gaming streams, where I play games on Linux with no trouble. Now, of course, there are games that don't work. You have your anti-cheat games, things like that, but the Steam Deck isn't fixing those. Maybe at some point it will, but at least today, the experience you get on the Steam Deck or on SteamOS is identical, minus the Steam branding, to something like Bazzite, for example. More recently than that, though, we had first rumors and then official confirmation of Lenovo's own Linux-powered gaming handheld device, the Lenovo Legion Go S, which is still using SteamOS because, hey, if Valve's gonna let you sell a device using SteamOS, you might as well do so because they've done all the work for you already, so less that you have to spend on your own system. Now, this device isn't out until May, and it might not be great, it might not be amazing, it might not sell as much as the Steam Deck, but what it did do is break the ice, because now there is another major company selling a Linux-powered gaming handheld device. Because, yes, there were other, little niche companies doing so, but now it is Lenovo. This is a company that people actually recognize. And with the ice being broken, surely more are to follow. That doesn't mean that anything has been confirmed, though, and people may get a little bit too trigger-happy anytime there's any sort of rumor, speculation, as is what happened with a recent XDA developers article. HP hasn't made an Omen gaming handheld because Windows isn't optimized for small screens. Completely reasonable title. It's not a great title, but it's also not making any additional speculation on what might be happening here. Now, you may have seen some additional coverage on this piece. This was originally posted about 10 or 11 days ago. But following all that coverage, because a lot of it was taking things being said out of context, there have been some updates to the article. I'll get to the updates, but I want to talk about what people misinterpreted in the first place. After the success of the Steam Deck, companies like Asus, Lenovo, and MSI have all produced handheld gaming PCs, most of which being Windows-powered, not Linux-powered. Right now, as of today, the only one from these companies that has been released is the Steam Deck that is Linux-powered. With the market growing as much as it is, we're also seeing dedicated chips made for these from AMD and Qualcomm. However, one OEM that hasn't tried to compete is HP, and this is an interview with the SVP and Division President of Gaming Solution to HP, Josephine Tan, and the answer is simple. Windows isn't optimized for gaming handhelds. Windows isn't optimized for handhelds. Forget the gaming part altogether. This is absolutely no secret. Windows is very heavy, it doesn't really have a UI that makes sense for mobile. This is what they were trying to do back in Windows 8. They just didn't really fully commit to it and went down a route that people didn't really like and then completely scrapped the project, and now we have Windows 11 built off Windows 10, which is following that line of normal desktop design. They could do it. It's just they need to actually put the force behind it to make it happen. Remember, the Xbox operating system is based on Windows. They can make a thing that is for a dedicated form factor, they actually just need to do it. But here's the thing about Linux. On Windows, if Microsoft doesn't want to do it, well, hey, you're just not going to get it. On Linux, though, you can just make it yourself. And it's just there. HP would make a gaming handheld under the right conditions. SteamOS seems like the right fit, or maybe a new kind of Windows. Would. Emphasis there. Not is, not will, would. If you look at Windows, I struggle with the experience myself. If I don't like it, I don't know how to do a product for it. Tan continued, if I'm buying a gaming handheld, I want a very simple setup. The minute I turn on my handheld, it will remember the last game I played. In the Windows environment, it doesn't. Windows were just never made as a gaming handheld operating system. It is made as a generic desktop operating system. This is why Valve has things like big picture mode, so they can kind of just circumvent the whole Windows thing and just put you into, this is the gaming experience mode, and then they leverage that to build an experience on top of Linux as well, where you have a lot more freedom, and you can set it up so, yeah, you just land directly into that, and there's no issue. Hey, what if it crashes, and then you can't get back into it, and, you know, Windows, it's fine as a desktop operating system, but it makes sense. It's just not set up to be for this specific use case, and that's why on the Xbox, they don't run Windows, the consumer version. They run a very heavily modified version specifically for the Xbox. According to recent reports, there's an Xbox gaming handheld coming later this year, which won't actually be made by Microsoft, is going to be made by an as yet unnamed OEM, but the point is, it's a different shell on Windows. Right now, Windows gaming handhelds just run full desktop Windows, usually with some OEM apps slapped on top of it as a launcher. It doesn't work well. I was playing a game on the Lenovo Legion Go a couple months ago, and mid-game, it just decided that it needed a controller firmware update. If Microsoft would have put an Xbox shell on Windows, that could make a real difference. Again, if Microsoft wants to fix this problem, they can fix the problem. User experience is super important. That's the number one thing we consider when we enter the market. The second thing we always ask ourselves is, how do we differentiate? I don't want to be a system integrator and just put things together. Anybody can do that. Isn't that the majority of what HP's product line is? Oh, sure, okay. I understand the perspective, but, like, you're at HP. Okay, so now that we're up to speed, some of the coverage of this was pretty tame. HP are interested in making a SteamOS handheld as the Windows experience sucks. I agree with this, and, you know, it's coming from gaming on Linux. You're gonna have Linux people saying that Windows sucks. Like, yeah, sure. Other outlets, I think, were entirely on point. HP is interested in using SteamDeck OS... The whiteboard moved. SteamDeck OS on a handheld gaming PC, skipping Windows. Others, like SteamDeck HQ, pretty much just the same. HP would be interested in making a handheld that runs SteamOS. But then there are other outlets that took what was said entirely out of context. Now, both of these have since been updated, but especially Tech Radar's, this one was making it seem like they were just gonna give up Windows and just entirely focus on Linux devices, which never was gonna happen. For context, here's that original title. SteamOS is about to change handheld gaming PCs as HP finally considers ditching Windows 11. Something that was never said. So following all of that coverage, here are the updates to the XDA developers article. The first one here, on the 27th of March. Let's be clear, I think some people have taken this article a bit out of context. So I want to be clear, HP, or more specifically Joe Tan, never promised that a gaming handheld is coming, or that it would run SteamOS if it did. She also did not bash Windows. The direct quotes in this article are accurate, so take that for what it is. I would be very surprised if there weren't at least meetings saying, hey, should we make a SteamOS powered handheld? Should we make a gaming handheld? There's no doubt that that's come up at least once, but there's never been anything officially stated. While she didn't bash Windows, what she did say is Windows in its current form is not suitable for a handheld, which nobody would disagree with. I don't even think Microsoft would disagree with that. It's fine on a laptop, it's fine on a desktop, but it's just not made for a gaming handheld. It's just, like, not the current form of it. Now, the author of the article does take some further issues with Windows, but those are not things said by the person from HP. Along with this, the following day, there is a further quote from Joe Tan. HP is focused on delivering the best personalized gamer experience across our Omen and HyperX solutions. We remain committed to leveraging the Windows platform while creating a unique gaming experience for all gamers, regardless of the device they use. They are leveraging the Windows platform. Nowhere was it said they are ditching Windows. Nowhere did it say this. And nowhere is it confirmed they are making a handheld. Might they make a handheld? Might it be powered by SteamOS? Maybe. But this article is not confirmation of that happening. Anyway, that is going to be it for today's video, so let me know your thoughts down below. Did you believe all the initial reporting that HP is going to make a SteamOS powered handheld? Or did you see through what was being said? I'd love to know. So if you liked the video, go like the video. If you really like the video and you want to become one of these missing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe to the Libera page linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and H penis.